Hello everyone, I welcome you once again into today's lecture where we look at different spatial data sources and collection. For those who attended our last lecture, we looked at the introduction to GIS, looked at different spatial data sources, of course the different spatial data applications and the different types of layers and different spatial data types and formats, and how you can represent spatial data. Now today we want to look at different spatial data sources and collection. Where can you find spatial data and how you can be able to collect it? Of course, there are different spatial data sources that exist currently, and different agencies are increasingly providing different spatial data, ranging from just layers of maps to real detailed information. And most of the GIS projects, of course, begin with search for base data. So when you want to start a GIS project, if you want to work with GIS, if you want to start a project, you begin with searching for data. You begin with finding where you can get some base spatial data in terms of maps or in terms of just layers of spatial data. And you can find it on different links, including the websites, of course, different geodata banks created by various agencies. So there are different agencies, and depending on the purpose for which you need this spatial data, you can find it in different agencies. Of course, some agencies provide very quality data, while others provide coarse data. Depending on the purpose, you can be able to use this data. So it is very important before you collect the data, or before you pick on a spatial data type and begin using it, to understand for what purpose do you need it, and understand the quality or the nature of this data you are going to use. Because some data can be of very good quality, while other data can be really of poor quality. So there is a list of different spatial data sources that I've compiled. It's just an example, or a few agencies that I've listed. You can find different spatial data sources. One of the biggest spatial data source is really the natural world itself. The natural Earth is one of the biggest source of spatial data. There's a lot of spatial data you can collect out there in the world. It could be about the forest, it could be about the mountains, it could be about the topography, it could be about the settlements. And if you need to get this data, you just move out of the world and you look at it. You can take pictures and collect it. You can take coordinates and be able to study whatever you want to study. And most of us really depend on this natural world to get spatial data. Of course, this public domain, of course, from different assets of data, you can get vector data, you can get images, you take images, which is we are calling the raster data, and attribute data. You can be able to record information about different features in the real world that you are interested in. There are also global maps that are provided, or that provide consistent coverage of the whole Earth. In terms of land cover, but also in terms of other features. So these global maps are provided by different agencies, the biggest being the United States Geological Survey, or USGS, which is one of the biggest provider of spatial data. So these agencies are able to collect data and archive it and make it available for different users. Of course, these global maps include different thematic maps. It could be in terms of transportation, it could be in terms of elevation, it could be administrative units, drainage, vegetation, and other things. And these global maps can efficiently be used when you have Google Earth installed on your device, or these days what we call the Google Earth Pro. When it is installed, you can be able to navigate through Google Earth and be able to look at this spatial data. I don't know whether I can be able to demonstrate for you the Google Earth, which is one of the biggest sources of spatial data. If I just move out of this and switch to Google Earth, I can be able to show you how it operates. This is, for me, this is Google Earth Pro that is installed, and depending if you have data or you have internet connected, you can be able to look at Google Earth and be able to download data. It takes some bit of time depending on the sources of internet or how strong your internet is. So I have Google Earth Pro installed. And if I open it, it will open as you can see. And from it will look like that. And from it, as you can see, you can be able to collect data. If I zoom in, for example, if for those who are familiar with Uganda, you see this is Uganda here, and this is Lake Victoria. So depending on the area of interest, for example, here under the search menu, you can be able to search the area of interest. For example, here, if I'm interested in looking at, for example, Kabarole district where we are, you can just type in Kabarole and be able to search the area of interest until give you Kabarole. As you can see, it zooms in to the area of interest. And from here, you can be able to save or download images that you are interested in. There is here a toolbar where you can add different features and be able to manipulate and modify the area of interest. For example, if I zoom in and if I was interested in downloading this particular image or in saving it, there are different features here. For example, if you move your cursor here, it's save image. I can be able to save this image. If I click on save, you see it can allow you to give a legend or a key and the title of the map, but also there is this icon map options that you can use to uncheck. If you don't want a title, you can uncheck it. If you don't need a legend, you can uncheck it. And if you are happy with the map, here under save image, you can be able to save the image to wherever you want to save it on your computer. So if you have Google Earth Pro installed, you can be able to get the data you need, especially in terms of images from Google Earth. So that's about Google Earth. Let's switch back to our PowerPoint presentation. So the other is the UNEP. Of course, the United Nations Development Program. There are different United Nations agencies that provide special data. And this one mainly provide environmental data that includes, of course, forest cover, of course, global evapotranspiration. There could be monthly temperatures and watershed boundaries that are provided by these agencies. Of course, the other is, of course, what we call the ASTA DEM that provides digital elevation model, and the most freely available data layer is the 30-meter resolution global elevation data that, of course, derived from advanced space-borne thermal emissions and reflection radiometer. So these are satellite imageries. This AST, or what we call the ASTA, stands for Advanced Space-Borne Thermal Emission and Reflection Radiometer, which really records elevation at a global scale and is able to make it available for you. So depending on your geographical interest, you can be able to downscale or clip this data to your area of interest. Away from these global databases, there are also national and international mapping agencies. For example, in Uganda, we have the National Survey and Mapping Agency that is responsible for mapping and collecting spatial data or geographical data and make it available either freely, depending on the purpose for which you need it, or at a small fee. So here, if you want different spatial data, it could be aerial photography and different layers. The responsible agency, for example, in Uganda is the Department of Lands and Survey for Uganda. We have also the Geological Survey and Mapping, which is based in Entebbe in Uganda, that is also responsible for collecting different geological data. We have National Forest Authority that is really looking at forest cover and can provide different spatial data sources. There are other sources that include digital images that can be, of course, either taken in the field by ourselves or by different people. There could be scanned maps that you can find. Some of you have done geography in your O level. You had always worked with the with map extracts and that are scanned and can be georeferenced and used for study purposes. There are also digital aerial photography that can be used for different purposes. So there are different sources of data, and depending on the purpose for which you want this data, you can find it in different platforms. So those are the different spatial data sources from which you can get data, depending on the purpose you want to use it for, or depending also on the resources available for you. Different agencies can give you different data. So from that brings us just about spatial data sources, and in our next video we are going to look at how to collect data, especially using GPS, because GPS these days is the most powerful device that is being used to collect spatial data from the field. So now next slide, I encourage you to be there because we shall be looking at how you can use a GPS to collect data in the field. Thank you very much. I wish you well.